Welcome back to another episode of Choosing Beggars. The first story we have today is by Lauren Felwin, which is taking both Choosing Beggars and entitled parents and putting them into one great story. The title for this story is called I'm Not Paying That, It's Too Expensive. Here's some context. EW is the entitled woman, M is me, MA is the manager, and S is the supervisor. So, a busy Sunday, and I mean hectic. Queue's the end of the aisles, short-staffed, and it's only about 12 p.m. A woman comes up to my till with 2 full trolleys of stock, and I set myself for a long transaction and annoyed customers behind her. All goes well until I tell her the total. M, that's £350, please. EW, no it's not. Your till is wrong. M, I'm afraid it totals based on the barcodes. EW, you need to add it up. I'm not paying that. I informed her I would add it up to the next pound and give her a basic total, and she agreed that it made sense. I'm not adding 300 items worth of 97 pence together precisely, and when I had done that, it came very close to the total at the till. EW, you did it wrong. Give me the receipt. She then pulls out a calculator and somehow gets around £100 as her total and tries to hand me her new total. M, I'm sorry, but the till says £350. I worked out the same and I cannot accept any less. EW, this is a disgrace. Get me your manager. So I did, and my supervisor was available, the manager dealing with a complaint or something at the time. EW, your till is broken. It says I owe £350 and it's actually £100. M, I added it up too and got £350. Would you mind adding it up for us too? S, the till... EW, is wrong. Add it up. My supervisor added it to the exact amounts on the receipts and ended up with the same amount as the till. She then gives him £100 and he looks at her blankly. EW, I'm not paying that. It's ridiculous. It's a discount store. Having enough of her shit, he called the store manager down, who was pissed at being interrupted. SM, your total is £350. Pay or leave without the goods. EW, I want to speak to the store manager. SM, I am the store manager. Pay or I'll call security. The security can't actually do anything because they're not ours. They're for the car park. Needless to say, she paid and got out of there in a hurry. Like, man, how dare you ask a customer to pay the correct price for their items? And if all you have is 100, then you start putting stuff back until you get your bill down to what you can afford. I just don't get it. Continuing on, we have Novalu with a long story titled, After spending money and a week of my time on my friend's wedding, she confronts me about a gift. My husband was asked to be the best man at his longtime best friend's wedding. We didn't get along super great with his fiance, but they were a package deal, and of course, we want to show support. My husband and I live in a major city, and his friend lives in a small town a few hours away, so when it came time for wedding clothes shopping, they came into the city and stayed with us. The friend, his fiance, her BFF, and her mom. The fiance invited me to go with them to pick out wedding dresses and bridesmaids' dresses, as I was the only one not in the bridal party. I just thought to be inclusive. I went along, and after everything was picked out, the fiance puts her nose about an inch away from my nose and says, "Will you be one of my bridesmaids?" I was really caught off guard and felt like I had no choice other than to say yes. This girl is the kind of person who gets her feelings hurt anytime she hears no. Like, even if she invites you to something with no notice and you already have plans, if you say no, it's going to be weeks of drama and pouting. So I stammered something about how flattered I was, and suddenly I was stuffed into a mermaid green monstrosity of a bridesmaid's dress. When it came time to pay for the dresses, I was told we were expected to buy our own dress. The dress she had picked out for us was about $125. This was quite an unexpected expense, but I kind of sighed and pulled out my card. Then, when they were buying the wedding dress and the mother-in-law's dress, their card didn't work. They tried it 3 times, and they all got declined. So I had to pay, and they said they'd hit me back later. Another $450. The best man clothes were also a fiasco. The groom decided on formal tuxedos with tails and top hats. The rentals on that ended up being $200 plus $50 for a top hat, which I guess we had to buy and couldn't rent. But that's cool, I mean, totally lots of occasions that would call for a top hat, right? So that was that until the week of the wedding. We bypassed a lot of the wedding showers and engagement parties as we were not living in the same area and couldn't drive down every other week. We did come down the week before for me to attend the bachelorette party and my husband to host the bachelor party, and we stayed till the wedding. I spent about $200 on bachelorette party gifts as another bridesmaid asked me to pick up something for her too, and she wanted me to buy those glass sex toys that were decidedly not cheap. Obviously, she didn't pay me back and I was getting used to that. The groom is a gamer nerd, so they had a LAN party for the bachelor party. The only expense we ended up fronting for that was alcohol, which ended up being $300. It became increasingly obvious through the week that no planning had gone into the wedding itself. The city park had been reserved, but no chairs or decorations had been arranged for, and the food and cake were all going to be do-it-yourselves. It took an army of everyone involved, aside from the bride and groom of course, to make all the finger sandwiches, baby quiches, mini cheesecake and other nibbles required. It was the height of summer in the south, and hauling 100 folding chairs and stringing twinkle lights and flowers in above 100-degree weather was indescribably frustrating. Nobody in their right mind would plan an outdoor wedding in July in our area and also select ultra-formal clothing. Nobody. The bride was 2 hours late to her own wedding. She had her friends come and do all of our hair, and she expected to be paid $50 each at the end. Money is just hemorrhaging out of me at this point, and I'm in such a state of exhaustion and shock that I no longer care. The wedding happens, everyone seems happy. My husband and I were preparing to drag ourselves home to recuperate physically and financially. Then the bride stops me. She grabs my arm. Oh, I think, this is where she thanks us for helping her big nightmarish day become a success. No such luck. She is crying and shaking with anger, and she says, I guess you didn't get me a wedding present. Just so you know, when someone invites you to a wedding, you are supposed to get them a present. I froze and I could not close my mouth. I'm sorry, what? She got dragged off to take such and such picture, and I was still standing there, failing to compute what just happened to me. We just left. Couldn't really say bye or anything. I was just so done. The car ride home was so much repeating of what happened to each other and just being at a loss. We needed a lot of time to process how much of a ride we have been taken on with no thank yous, no apologies. Actually, they were completely ungrateful and thought that we had scammed them out of a wedding present. I feel like I need to add that we are not rich. We are young working people who basically empty their bank accounts to help someone else's wedding not become a complete dumpster fire due to lack of planning. To be honest, it sounds like a very expensive way to learn that those two need to be completely removed from your lives. And thank you for tuning in on another episode of Choosing Beggars. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to comment down below and subscribe.